Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. First of all, I offer my Islamic pranams unto the lotus feet of our most worshipful Srila Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Shishmat Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Gaurupana Gurudwara, all sons of Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas. So we continue. We started reading yesterday this 19th chapter of Bhakti-lila. This is Rupa Shiksha. Just first verse we read yesterday. Vrindavaniyam praskeli vartam kalena luptam vija shakti muttam sancharya rupe vedano punasam prabhu vidobra Ivaloka Shrishtim. So, that one we discussed yesterday. We continue the second verse today. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktivinoda. All glories to Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to the Lord. Text 3. Shirupa Sanatan Rai Ramakili Grame Prabhure Miliagena. It says, after meeting Sri Mahaprabhu in the village of Ramakili, the brothers Rupa and Sanatan returned to their homes. Text 4. Dui Bhai Visay Tyagera Upaya Sri Jila The two brothers devised a means whereby they could give up their material activities. For this purpose, they appointed two Brahmins and paid them a large amount of money. Now here it says, Dui Bhai, meaning these two brothers, Vishay Tyagera. So here it's translated so that they can give up material activities. So this tyag beside Jagera. But you know they're not enjoyers, they're not beside. But what is that they want to give up? Because at that time, when Mahaprabhu met them, they were still engaged in the service of this Muslim. So that one they want to give up. And they want, it says, Bahudhan, they give so much donation. They paid to two Brahmins, which they appointed. For what? Okay, then we see in the next verse. Text 5. Krishna mantre karailo duri purashcharan achirat vaibare chaitanya charan. So it says Krishna mantra. We know Krishna in the holy mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra. Kurailo. Kurailo meaning to make, to make. Like now we hear Rupa and Sanatan, they're doing Purascharan. We had some Brahmins too. And with them, they're doing this Purascharan. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, before he did his preaching, also after he took sannyas, he stayed in Radha Damodar, doing very intense bhajan, he's doing this Purascharan. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, before he established the Gaudiya Math, he's chanting 3 billion names. It says. So he's doing his Purascharan also, Mayapur. So then we have some idea. I want to read from Hari Bhakti Vilas, this section about Purascharan. This is, let me see. This is 17th Vilas. In Hari Bhakti Vilas, the chapters are divided or named as Vilas. So this is actually the last section, 17th Vilas. I'll just read very quickly. I'm not going to read the Sanskrit anymore. But because Hari Bhakti Vilas is compilation of different verses from Shastra. I'll mention here the reference. So text 1, Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, O bless the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. He said, I take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Dev, by whose slight grace even a poor, wretched, and useless person becomes qualified to make the whole world happy by propagating the glories of pure devotional service. Text 2, we have already discussed the daily duties of a devotee as well as fortnightly duties and monthly duties. So that was, in Hari Bhakti Vilas, there's all these different regulations, no? There's daily, there's like fortnightly, there's monthly duties. So like Ekadasi, and then all these different vratas. Now we will discuss some of the occasional duties, such as Purashcharan. Now he's mentioning actually this word Purashcharan. So here, text 3, discussion of Purashcharan. After receiving initiation mantras from the spiritual master, so meaning the Diksha mantra you receive from the Guru, one should take instruction from him about the observance of Purashcharan and thereafter begin the ritualistic performance. He said, if you don't do Purashcharan, you can be chanting all these mantras, but there's no result. So, chanting of mantra without performing Purashcharan will not produce any tangible results. Text 8. In the Agatsya Samhita it is stated, in this miserable material world, those who wish to experience transcendental happiness should worship Lord Ramachandra by means of the 5 kinds of worship known as Purashcharan. Text 9. According to learned authorities, these 5 kinds of worship are known as Purashcharan. O intelligent one, this worship can award one freedom from material bondage. Text 10. One who is endowed with ascetic prowess in order to attain the fulfillment of one's desires. There is no other religious practice, no austerity, and no sadhana as effective as the performance of Purashcharan. Text 11. Purashcharan refers to 5 activities. Take note. Worshipping the Supreme Lord 3 times daily, chanting mantras, offering oblations, performing fire sacrifice, and feeding Brahmins. Text 12. After receiving mantras from the spiritual master, the practice that helps one achieve perfection in chanting the mantras is known as Purashcharan, which consists of 5 limbs. Text 13. 5 kinds of with good children. Text 15. In the Prama Dipika it is stated, one who executes this 5-fold Purashcharan becomes very dear to all living entities, will attain wealth and wisdom, and at the end of his life he will attain an effulgent destination. Text 16. Of all the books that describe the worship of Lord Gopal, the book Prama Dipika is foremost. Herein we will describe Purashcharan by primarily citing evidence from that literature. Text 17. Suitable place for performing Purashcharan. Purashcharan should be performed, then we have some idea. Rupa, Sanatan, they're trying to do like this. Now, especially for Raganuga Bhaktas, they may not exactly do, because Raganuga Bhaktas, they will do everything according to their modes. So they may not do exactly the specific rule, because those rules which are not favorable to their modes, they will reject. But some idea is that. So the Purashcharan should be performed either by the side of a river, underneath a bilba tree, or within the water, in a pasturing ground, in a temple of Lord Vishnu, or under a banyan tree, or on the seashore. So there's all these places where someone can perform this prasthana. On the side of a river, on the seashore, under a banyan tree, on a temple, pasturing grounds, underneath a bilba tree, and so on. Prasthana should be performed in a holy place. Text 18. So elsewhere it is stated, Prasthana should be performed in a holy place, on the bank of a river, within a mountain cave, on the top of a mountain, at the confluence of a river, at any purified place, on the shore of an ocean, or in a sanctified forest. Text 19. It can be performed in a secluded orchard, in a flower garden, at the foot. They collected this from scriptures. See, it's like they're telling the same thing. Text 21. Prasthana can also be performed in front of one's spiritual master. Text 21. Prasthana can also be performed in front of one's spiritual master. At any place where one can easily concentrate his mind. At a crematorium, or at any place where Vedic mantras regularly chanted. Mantras can also be chanted at any of these places. Text 22. Elsewhere it is stated, where a river enters the ocean, near a self-manifested Shiva Linga that faces west, and is mentioned in the Puranas, or a self-manifest sacred place, are also suitable locations for performing prasthana. Text 23. One may also perform prasthana at the sanctified place in relation to Lord Vishnu, in an enchanting and purified house, at any place that has been thoroughly cleansed, or at a place that naturally filling boats. The next text 7. Brahmana Vaishnava Dilo Tara Ardha Dane Eka Chothe Dana Dila Bhorane. Srila Rupa Goswami divided the wealth that he brought back home. He gave 50% in charity to Brahmins and Vaishnavas, and 25% to his relatives. Okay, so Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in his report, he says, this is a practical example of how one should divide his money and retire from household life. 50% of one's money should be distributed to qualified and pure devotees of the Lord. 25% may be given to family members, and 25% may be kept for personal use in case of emergency. So this is the example of someone takes sannyas. Like you give up to pure devotees and 25% to family members. Text 8. Danda bandha lagi chothi sanchaya ko karila bhala putrasthane stapyat rakhila. He kept 1/4 of his wealth with a respectable Brahmin. He kept this for his personal safety because he was expecting some legal complications. So the following, this is an example. No. One, like half of that, distribute to the pure devotees, to the Brahmins and devotees. Then 1/4 to the relatives, and 1/4 in keeping for emergency. And Rupa, they're very smart, so they know something that is coming, so they're keeping. And that was actually was used by Sanatana Goswami for escaping. The next text 9. Gori Rakhila Putra Dashpa Hajare Samapna Vyaj Jaya Pare Rakhe Muri Buddhi Ghare. He deposited 10,000 coins which were later spent by Sri Sanatana Goswami in the custody of a local Bengali grocer. So this is the 1/4, or 10,000 coins. These are gold coins. Big amount. Text 10. Shirupa Shamila Prabhu Ilatre Gamana Vana Pali Arjuna Prabhu Sri Vrindavan. Shirupa Goswami heard that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had returned to Jagannath Puri and was preparing to go to Vrindavan through the forest. Okay, so Mahaprabhu when did they meet? Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya Goswami and Rupa Goswami? That was in Mahaprabhu's second tour, where he traveled in many places in Bengal, supposedly going to Vrindavan, but he did not proceed. Now he heard that Mahaprabhu had already returned to Jagannath Puri, and he was preparing to go to Vrindavan, because that was the plan. He cancelled his going to Vrindavan because so many people were following. So he already returned to Puri, and now Mahaprabhu is preparing to go to Vrindavan. So this is what Rupa Goswami heard. 11, text 11. Rupa Goswami nila chale patay la durijan Prabhu ravi Vrindavan kole nagaman. Sri Rupa Goswami sent 2 people to Jagannath Puri to find out when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would depart for Vrindavan. And so that's not so far away, because they're all Bengal also. Jagannath Puri not so far away from Bengal. So he sent 2 people, messengers, to find out when Mahaprabhu would leave for Vrindavan. Text 12. Shivra Shri More Nara Deva Sanachar Shunya Tad Anurupa Korigobra Bahar. Shri Rupa Goswami told the 2 men, "You are to return quickly and let me know when he will depart. Then I shall make proper arrangements." Okay, we follow? Text 13. Idha Sanatana Gosai Bhave Mane Mana Raja More Priti Kare Se Mora Bandana. While Sanatana Goswami was in Goradesh, he was thinking that Nawab is very pleased with me. I certainly have an obligation. Text 14. Kon Mati Raja Yadi More Kruddha Hoy Kavi Avyahati Hoy Kori Nischay. If the Nawab somehow or other becomes angry with me, I shall be greatly relieved. That is my conclusion. Nawab, what's Nawab? Nawab is like this king there. And that time, the Nawab is Hussain Shah. Very powerful, this Nawab, very powerful king. His capital was there in Ramakeli. And he is, like, he's not afraid to kill also. We know the story, right? How Rupa and Sanatana came to, in the service of this Muslim. You know the story? Anyone know the story? You know the story? No. Because this Rupa and Sanatana, they're actually very young. And even from like a teenager, they were forced to, to be part of the government of this Muslim. How? He said when this Nawab Hussain Shah, he hired one architect, to make a nice tower in Ramkeli, because that's their capital. Finally, when it was done, then this architect, or the mason, the builder, he was very proud, and from the top of the tower, he was with this Hussain Shah. And he was like, posting like very nice, and then Hussain Shah also said, yes, very nice. But then he said, but I can do better. Then Hussain Shah become very angry. It's like, stupid, why would I not do better? The best. Why are you doing now and then telling I can do better? then he pushed this mason or architect or the main person. And so then immediately he died. So he can do like that. And actually, he also burned many temples, like regular activities of Muslims. So then his general saw like what happened, and immediately he looked at the general and telling him, go to the name of this village of Rupan Sanatan. I forgot the name. This something. Bhaktabandhaf. So he telling him, go to this Bhaktabandhaf. And then he was very scared. The general immediately running and going to this Bhaktabandhaf, this village. But then the problem is, he went there, but he doesn't know what to do because he left. Very scared. So he was thinking, like, what am I to do? And he's in a dilemma. Should he return to the king and ask what to do? But then the king would be very angry, and he could be killed. So he's thinking, like, should I return or not? I should not return until I know exactly and have done what the king has ordered me to do. But he doesn't know what to do. So the whole time he was there, he was on his horse, and he's just like going through the streets, And so then the people, they were scared because it's like there's a general of this Muslim ruler, and he's like going, it's like looking, monitoring the village, he's going back and forth. So the people, they were scared, and then they approached Rupa and Sanatan. At that time, their name was not Rupa and Sanatan. What's their name before? Santosh and what's the other one? Santosh, Sanatan and Santosh. Rupa is Ahmad? I forgot. Santosh and Ahmad. And then they are actually well known in the village because they're very clever boys, And any problem in the village, they are there to give nice advice. And they have very good relation with everyone. In fact, later on also they made the village into like Vrindavan. So even from that time, even before meeting Mahaprabhu, they have all these emotional sentiments already. Sanatana Goswami, even from young age, already used to read Bhagavatam and sleeping with Bhagavatam. So he said that time the village, they approached Amar and Santosh, asking, please help, where there's the general of the Nawab here, monitoring our village. So then they're looking, they're observing, they approach the Nawab, this general. And then they pacify him. They can understand something is wrong. So they ask, we can see that you have some problem. Please tell us, we may be able to help you. And so then he told a story. He saw how this architect or the mason was pushed by the king, and the king told him, go to this place. And so then he telling him, that's not my problem because I don't know what to do. I just came here and I did not ask actually what am I to do here. And he's so scared to go. So then Rupa and Sanatan, Amar and Santosh was like, oh, we know why the king brought you here. Because our place is very famous for all these builders, like mason, very good masons there. And so then he wanted to get another mason to continue the work of his That's the one he killed. So that he was so pacified, he said, Amar Santosh helped him. He said, okay, we'll give you. So they got some good medicine. And then the general returned. And so when he returned and presented to the Nawab, Hussein Shah was very impressed actually. He said like, oh, how did you know my heart? You know, like, I told you to go there and you run immediately. I was not even able directly telling you what to do, but you know what my heart is, like this. Now come back immediately here and give me, yeah. I said, actually I didn't know, but I found these two young men. They're very intelligent. And so when he heard from the general, this Hussein Shah immediately called him this Amar Santosh and forcibly making them part of his like a ministry. So actually Rupa became Sakar Malik. What's his name? Nabir Kasa, and then Sanatan is Sakar Malik. One is Prime Minister, one is Treasurer. That's why they have lots of money also. So Treasurer. So they're like the main advisor of the king. So that's how they were involved in the government, the Muslim. So here, Sanatan actually was thinking, the king, Sanatan was thinking, now the Nawab is very happy with me. And he said, if he becomes angry with me, then that is very good for me, because I will be relieved. So text 15. Aswastyera chatmabare rahimija bhare Raja karya charila nayaye rajagwari. On the pretext of bad health, Sanatan Goswami remained home. Thus, he gave up government service and did not go to the royal court. Okay, so Sanatan, pretending he's sick, he not going to his duty, government service. Verse 16. Lobhi kastagana raja kare pare apane swargi pare shastrera vichari. The greedy masters of his clerical and secretarial staff performed the government duties while Sanatan personally remained home and discussed the revealed scriptures. So, report. Sanatan Goswami was the minister in charge of the government secretariat. And his assistants, the undersecretaries and clerks, all belonged to the Kayasta community. So, formerly, the Kayastas belonged to the clerical and secretarial staff of the government. And later, if one served in such a post, he was called a Kayasta. Eventually, if a person could not identify himself as a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, he used to introduce himself as a Kayasta to get a wealthy and honorable position. In Bengal, it is said that if one cannot give the identity of his caste, he calls himself a Kayasta. On the whole, the Kayasta community is a mixture of all castes, and it especially includes those engaged in clerical or secretarial work. Materially, such people are always busy occupying responsible government posts. When Sanatan Goswami was relaxing and feeling inclined to retire from government service, many Kayastas on his secretarial staff were very eager to occupy his post. In this regard, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur states that when Sanatan Goswami was a government minister, and the Kayastas who assisted him saw that he was reluctant to continue, they became very expert in their duties. Sanatan Goswami was a Brahmin belonging to the Saraswat Brahmin community. It is said that when he resigned, a subordinate named Purandar Khan, who was a Kayasta, occupied his post. So here we've got proof, Sanatan and Rupa, their brothers, no? So they're actually from Brahmin family, from the Saraswat Brahmin community. But because they help in the Muslim, and like anywhere, when you're part of the Muslim, then you're considered not Brahmin, you're like an outcast now. That's why even during the time of Mahaprabhu now, after they left Mahaprabhu, they never took the role oh, I'm Brahmin. No, I wasn't born in a Brahmin family. No, they consider themselves like the Muslims now, like outcasts. And therefore, they don't eat like Sanatana Goswami during the time when he was in Puri. One time, Mahaprabhu invited Sanatana Goswami to come to meet him near Tota Gopinath. That's where Gadadhar Pandit used to give his Harikatha. Every day giving Bhagavatam classes. So one time Mahaprabhu invited Sanatana to come for lunch prasad there. But Sanatana Goswami was late. When he arrived already, Mahaprabhu already has eaten and already has rested. And then, Mahaprabhu's servant Govinda fed Sanatana Goswami. Later on, Mahaprabhu, when he woke, he met with Sanatana and asked him, oh, you came so late, how did you come here? Like this. And so then, because there's two routes. One is directly passing by the Jagannath temple, and that is the short route. And the other one is a long way by the beach, by the ocean side. And so Sanatana, he was telling I was delayed because I went by this ocean side. And Uncle, why you have to go like that? Oh, it's so hot there. Then he actually looking at the feet of Sanatana, he sees all blistered. Because it's very hot. So why not go to this shaded place, very short? So they go, all the servants of Jagannath, every day they're passing by this place. And I don't want to disturb them and even stepping, he doesn't even want to step on their shadows. So because he considers himself very impure, like this. That's his humility. So King Haridas, also Rupa Goswami the same. They never made any effort or attempt to go inside Jagannath temple. Although they could have. I don't think some people may, or maybe for Haridas, maybe some people would protest. But for Rupa and Sanatana, the Brahmin family, they could have come inside, but they never went inside. So they are in that kind of very humble position. Now, like us, like foreigners, we cannot go inside Jagannath temple. We cannot even follow the example of them. Some like fighting with the guards also, and trying to go inside. So, it's very interesting here, actually. It tells about the Kayasta. So Kayasta is it says here, because sometimes we hear this. Narottam Das Thakur, he says this from the Kayasta class. Also, Raghunath Das Goswami. So what exactly the Kayasta, it's like a mixture from different castes. And mostly, they are the ones that hold government positions. So they have some honorable posts. But the smartest, they would consider them Sudra. Lower caste. Text 17. Vatacharya Pandit Pandita Vishwa Trishya Yaya Bhagavata Vichara Parina Sabhata Pasya. Sri Sanatana Goswami used to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam in an assembly of 20 or 30 learned Brahmin scholars. So he was not doing his service to the government, he pretending he's sick, but then in his house he would be there doing discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam. Here it says, with an assembly of 20 or 30 learned Brahmin scholars. And take note, at this time they were doing this Murascharan also. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the following commentary on the words Bhagavat Vichar. Bhagavat Vichar, because, yes, in the verse it says, Bhattacharya Pandita Visha Trisha Laya Bhagavata Vichara Korina Samha Te Vasya. So, Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he gives commentary to the word Bhagavat Vichar. As confirmed in the Munda Upanishad, there are two kinds of educational systems. We're quoting the exact verse here. Dve vidye videtavye iti asmaya brahma vido vadanti parachaiva paracha tatra paralikvedo yajurveda samavedo atharvaveda siksha patto vyakaranam niruktam chando jyotisham iti atapara yaya tatpaksharam advikam yate. There are two kinds of educational systems. One deals with transcendental knowledge, the Paravidya, and the other with material knowledge, the Aparavidya. All the Vedas, the Ved, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharvaveda, along with their corollaries known as Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakaran, Nirukta, Chanda, and Jyotish, belong to the inferior system of material knowledge. I'll read it again. It said all the Vedas, meaning the Ved, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva, 4, along with their corollaries known as Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakaran, grammar, Nirukta, Chanda, and Jyotish, astrology. So they all belong to the inferior system of material knowledge, the Aparavidya. So here the Vedas, the 4 Vedas, is part of the Aparavidya. This is according to Munda Upanishad. This is from the verse in the Munda Upanishad. And it says, by Paravidya, one can understand the Akshar. So first thing, they belong to the Aparavidya. And it said, by Paravidya, one can understand the Akshar, Brahman or Absolute Truth. As far as the Vedic literature is concerned, the Vedanta Sutra is accepted as the Paravidya. Srimad Bhagavatam is an explanation of that Paravidya. Those who aspire for liberation, mukti or moksha, and introduce themselves as Vedanti are also equal to those groups aspiring to improve religion, economic development, sense gratification, or Dharma Artha Kama Moksha. Dharma Artha Kama Moksha are called Chatur Varga. They are all within the system of inferior material knowledge. Any literature giving information about the spiritual world, spiritual life, spiritual identity, and the spirit soul is called Paravidya. Srimad Bhagavatam does not have anything to do with the materialistic way of life. It gives transcendental information to educate people in the superior system of Paravidya. Sanatana Goswami was engaged in discussing the Bhagavad Vidya, which means he discussed transcendental superior knowledge. Those who are karmis, jnanis, or yogis are not actually fit to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. Only Vaishnavas or pure devotees are fit to discuss that literature, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam itself, the 12th canto, 13th chapter, 8th verse. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramaham Syam Ekam Amalam Gyanam Param Kiyate Yadya Gyana Virage Bhakti Sahitam Naishkarmyam Abhishpitam Tatshrinyan Supadan Vicharana Paro Bhaktya Vimuchyantaraha. Although Srimad Bhagavatam is counted among the Puranas, it is called the spotless Purana because it does not discuss anything material. It is liked by the transcendental Vaishnava devotees. The subject matter found in Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for Paramahamsas, as it is said, Paramo Nirvatsaranam Satam Devyam. A Paramahamsa is one who does not live in the material world and who does not envy others. In Srimad Bhagavatam, devotional service is discussed to arouse the living entity to the transcendental position of Jnana and Vairagya. Stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1-12. First canto, second chapter, 12 verse. Tat Shraddha Dhanahamunayo Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya Pasyatyam Atmani Chamanam Bhaktya Shruta Vihitaya. The seriously inquisitive student or sage, well equipped with knowledge and detachment, realizes that absolute truth by rendering devotional service in terms of what he has heard from the Vedanta Shruti. So this is not sentiment. Knowledge and renunciation can be obtained through devotional service. That is by arousing one's dormant devotional consciousness, Krishna consciousness. When Krishna consciousness is aroused, it relieves one from fruitive activity for economic improvement and material enjoyment. This relief is technically called Naiskarmya, and when one is relieved, he is no longer interested in working hard for sense gratification. Srimad Bhagavatam is Srila Vyasadev's last mature contribution, and one should read and hear it in an assembly of realized souls while engaging in devotional service. At such a time, one can be liberated from all material bondage. This was the course taken by Sanatana Goswami, who retired from government service to study Srimad Bhagavatam with learned scholars. Text 18. Aratina Gureshwar Sankhe Ekajan Nacham Vile Gosai Savade Sabhate Pailo Agama. While Sanatana Goswami was studying Srimad Bhagavatam in the assembly of learned Brahmins, one day the Nawab of Bengal and another person suddenly appeared. Okay, he got caught. The full name of the Nawab of Bengal, Hussain Shah, was Alauddin Sayyama Hussain Saha Siripam Makka. A very long name. And he ruled Bengal for 23 years. From 1420 to 1443 Shakabda era. That is in our Gregorian calendar, 1498 to 1521. Sanatana Goswami was studying Srimad Bhagavatam with the scholars in the year 1424. Okay, that is 1502. Text 19. Patsavadikya sabe samprame udila samprame asanadya rajare vasaiva. As soon as all the Brahmins and Sanatana Goswami saw the Nawab appear, they all stood up and respectfully gave him a sitting place to honor him. Although Nawab Hussain Shah was a Mlecha Yaman, he was nonetheless the governor of the country, and the learned scholars and Sanatana Goswami offered him all the respect to a king or a governor. When a person occupies an exalted executive post, one should consider that he has acquired the grace of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 10:41, Lord Krishna says, Yad yad vaibhurtiman sattvam shrimad urjitam eva tadad eva vagachatvam mamatejo samsasambhavam. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So whenever we see something exalted, we must consider it part of the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A powerful man, Vibhutimat Sattvam, is one who has obtained the grace of the Lord, who has derived some power from Him. In Bhagavad Gita 7:10, Krishna says, Tejas, Tejas, Vinam, I am the power of the powerful. The learned Brahmin scholars showed respect to Nawab Hussain Shah because he represented a fraction of Krishna's power. Text 20. Raja kahe tumhare stane vaidya padhai padhai vaidya kahe vyadhi nahi sushna ye dekira. The Nawab said, I sent my physician to you, and he has reported that you are not diseased. As far as he could see, you are completely healthy. 21. Amara Yetichu Karya Sabat Omalaya Karya Chari Rohira Tumi Gari Devasya. I am depending on you to carry out so many of my activities, but you have given up your government duties to sit here at home. You see. Actually, the king, he was not angry. He loves Sanatana Goswami. And he actually felt like, oh, I need you. What are you doing here? You're not reporting. He said because he was telling before he was sick, the king cared for him. He's sending him a physician, a doctor. But doctor himself telling he's not sick. So now personally coming. 22. Mora yata karya kam sabo kailanash ki tumhara hriday ache kaho mora pash. You have spoiled all my activities. What is your intention? Please tell me frankly. Sanatan kohe nahi ama hoite kaam har kajan diya kor samadhan. So Sanatan Goswami replied, you can no longer expect any service from me. Directly telling, please arrange for someone else to tend to me, to tend to the management. He resigned. Text 24. Tabi kuddahaya raja mohi advaram kumara puno bhai kore dasyo yavahar. Becoming angry with Sanatana Goswami, the Nawab said, your elder brother is acting just like a plunderer. He says, becoming angry with Sanatana Goswami, the Nawab said, your elder brother is acting just like a plunderer. Who's the elder brother of Sanatana Goswami? Sanatana Goswami is eldest. Okay, we'll continue reading. Text 25. Jiva bahumani kaila chakla savanash eda tumi kaila mora sarva kanyanash. By killing many living entities, your elder brother has destroyed all Bengal. Now here you are, destroying all my plans. By killing many living entities, your elder brother has destroyed all Bengal. Now here you are, destroying all my plans. Text 26. Sanatan kohe tumi smatanta bodhishwar ye dosha kare dehatanafa. Sanatana Goswami said, you are the supreme ruler of Bengal and are completely independent. Whenever someone commits a fault, you punish him accordingly. Itu suni kodeshwara uti kare gela balai bhavale sanatanel gandila. Hearing this, the Nawab of Bengal stood up and returned to his home. He ordered the arrest of Sanatana Goswami so that he would not be able to leave. We'll just read this purport and we'll finish. Purport said, it is said that the relationship between the Nawab of Bengal and Sanatana Goswami was very intimate. The Nawab used to consider Sanatana Goswami his younger brother. So that's why he's telling him, their brother is he's like his elder brother who was a plunderer. So the Nawab used to consider Sanatana Goswami his younger brother. And when Sanatana Goswami showed a very strong intention to resign, the Nawab, feeling familial affection, essentially said, I am your elder brother, but I do not look after the state management. My only business is attacking other states with my soldiers and fighting everywhere as a plunderer. Now we're understanding. That because I am a meat eater, a yaman, I am used to hunting all kinds of living beings. In this way, I am destroying all kinds of living entities in Bengal. While engaged in this destructive business, I am hoping that you will tend the administration of the state. Since I, your elder brother, am engaged in such a destructive business, you being my younger brother should look after the state management. If you do not, how will things continue? So this talk was based on a family relationship, and Sanatana Goswami also replied in an intimate and joking way. Essentially, he told the Nawab, my dear brother, you are independent ruler of Bengal. You can act in whatever way you like, and if someone commits a fault, you can punish him accordingly. In other words, Sanatana Goswami was saying that since the Nawab was accustomed to acting like a plunderer, he should go ahead and take action. And since Sanatan was not showing much enthusiasm for performing his duty, the Nawab should dismiss him from his service. The Nawab could understand the intention of Sanatana Goswami's statement. He therefore left in an angry mood and ordered Sanatana Goswami's arrest. So we continue tomorrow. Jai Shri Guru Jai Chaitanya Charitamrita Gita Sarupa Krishna Jai.
All festival.
He may come in, but he will not speak, he will just listen to the talk.